over there, and I'm just
Okay.
going to ask you a few questions. Starting with just generally, what do you think about the room helps your teaching?
Well, it depends on the room.
This room.
Oh, this one.
Okay.
Okay. This is beautiful. I mean, it really helps from several points of view. One, it is not so spread upwards like others, like ones we have in Forney, for instance. The students get to sit across from each other, so you can set up teams of six to eight people to do collaborative work. The availability of these whiteboards, these are new for me. Anyway, the availability of the whiteboards help the group study and the cooperative work, because I have used those in other rooms.
Yeah.
And then the screens in front of the podium help a lot. As you can see in a large view what is being projected. And also the other thing is this other app that I have here. Yeah, the Solstice.
Oh yeah.
That way,
Solstice.
yeah, the students can participate actively during class
Great.
using this, and I can see it and we can interact. It definitely helps.
So, is there anything about the room that you find hinders your teaching at all?
Not really. Maybe at the beginning I had some difficulty with the sound. But I think I have learned because I use this one once a week and I use another one 3 times a week
Okay.
up in 3090.
3090?
Yes.
Okay.
And also some Mondays, rather than meeting here, we met right across.
Okay.
It's, gosh, I forgot the name. It's 1087.
1087?
Yes, the number. That's a true collaborative learning room where you have the round
The
tables.
round tables, okay.
Because some Mondays what I have is brainstorming
Got it.
sessions with the teams that are working on similar projects, and they sit around.
The round
There's
tables.
9 because there are 3 teams of 3, and they sit around the round table and exchange ideas and discuss, and it's really great.
Awesome. Can you see an impact on student learning, do you think, from using the room?
Well, it's still early to know. Maybe with the course evaluations, I saw something. For instance, with 3090, that I did one activity where I gave the student half of the students one problem, another half the other, another problem, similar problems with different statements. So I asked them to work in teams of 4, and in that room there's whiteboards all around. White rooms all around.
Yeah.
So I had everybody working on those during one class period, and I would just walk around and answer questions, give hints if I saw them stuck, and they loved it. I mean, they loved the idea. So if that is an indication, that definitely is good.
Were you able to see the discussions in a way that you couldn't in a different...
Yeah, the room is not so large. It's much smaller than this one.
Yeah.
It's 65,
Okay.
and that is a little different. It's what they can do is they can turn around. So they're sitting here facing that way, and then they have classmates in the back behind them, so they can swing around and
talk to
the
different people.
ones.
Great. So I guess that kind of leads directly, you mentioned a little bit, but what kind of activities do you normally do in your class?
I do those brainstorming,
Brainstorming, right?
which essentially is collaborative learning.
Mm-hmm.
Because the different teams in different sections have different instructors.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on the instructor, there's different approaches
Okay.
to the same project. But when I bring them together, then they can exchange ideas and discuss among them and
Okay.
try to come up. I encourage them to come up with consensus.
Great.
And that helps a lot. I do it in the 6th session of the project. The project takes 9 sessions.
Okay.
And there's 3 projects in the semester. And actually, in the past, many students have asked me to do that before, not wait until the 6th. So I did it this semester.
Great.
I did run brainstorming sessions in the 3rd, 4th,
So you had a
around the
couple of
3rd,
them,
4th
yeah.
sessions.
What
They-
are, yeah.
They like it.
Great.
And that is one. The other is the other activity I do continuously. That is in 3090,
Mm-hmm.
where I lecture. This Monday meetings there's some formal lectures
Mm-hmm.
for special topics, but in general I use it for discussion, for brainstorming and things like that. In 3090, where we have lecture scheduled Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And what I do is, when we're introducing new concepts, I tell them, okay, today we're going to talk about reaction rate. You should have read the material in the textbook. So I want you to talk to your classmates on your left and right,
Okay.
3, about reaction rate. Give you 1 minute. And they start, talk loud. And then after the minute, I just tell them, okay, now I'm going to ask the questions. So I go around. Tell me what you thought. What did your team come up with in terms of reaction rate? And what happens is I get a host of responses.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are more likely or more like the actual answer. Others are far away. I take all of them. And then after that, we have a general discussion and come up with the actual correct concept. And then we move along and do it again.
So it's kind of interspersed lecture, small group,
Yes.
large groups, lecture, small group.
That's right.
Could you estimate like about what % of the time students spend collaborating or doing some of that group?
About 50%, I would say.
Okay.
Because I also give examples.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I used to do with the example, I would just come in and work the example.
Right.
Now I don't do it.
No.
I just, okay, here's the example. Let's read it carefully, and then I'll have you work it out in teams again. The same idea. The next and right. Those 3, they get together, they work out the example. I have a problem-solving methodology that they have to follow.
Mm-hmm.
So I just go around the room, see how they're doing, how they're moving along, and help, give hints, ask some questions, and then when the first team finishes, then I stop it.
Okay.
I don't allow for the others to continue. They could go forever sometimes.
Right.
So I stop it there, and then we discuss it. I tell them, okay, this is what you should have done. This one team did it correctly. These are the answers. Any questions, discussion, or anything along. There's always something because there's some problems that are open-ended, so there's always discussion.
Right.
It's pretty good.
Great. Do you think that you could do what you do in this room or any of the walk rooms if you were in a non-walk room?
Very difficult, unless it is a small class. And I normally have no less than 65. Actually, I normally have 170.
Why do you think? So, why do you think you couldn't do it in that other room?
Well, I was normally scheduled, if I had that number of students,
Yeah.
I was scheduled either in Forney, G140, which is
Really steep.
a room like that, steep, and lighting was
Students
not so
are far
good.
away.
Yes, far away, and so walking up and down is much more difficult. There are no whiteboards, only the one up front. That's all. Another time I was scheduled in a math building. That was the worst. That was terrible. I just said, I don't ever want to do it again. Because in that room, there was only one screen. No two screens, only one screen. It was very large, going backwards. So there was not much slope. And there was way back. And then there was no whiteboard, only blackboard.
Okay.
And that was, I hated it. So in that case, it was very, very difficult because you cannot really walk
Okay.
around so loosely as, for instance, in this one.
Okay. So, in order to kind of get to those students to give them feedback and check in with them.
Yes.
Okay.
And also the app, that also helps because
Just also.
they can also use that. And I also use Hotseat. So they can send questions or issues on Hotseat and I can see them on the screen. That I could do also in G140, but none of the other.
Okay. Do you think, last question is, do you think that the rigor of the class changed at all when you started teaching in this class?
No,
No.
not at all, no. No, the exams were
Exactly.
as tough or tougher. And students are doing well.
All right. Do you think any other, I mean, just kind of open-ended, but anything else about the room that you, or any of the rooms that you would like to pass along to people looking for feedback?
I've also used the musical chairs room.
The musical chairs room?
Not as an instructor, but I'm taking.
Oh, the impact. The one with the
impact,
the
yes.
bumper car room?
That-
With the
that you
chairs
can
that
move
move?
around.
Yeah.
Anywhere, and also you can move your tabletop and all kinds of stuff. I've used that one. That is unusual. I don't think I would like to use that for teaching.
Okay.
But this one, 1087, perfect. This one here, if for something like mixture of lecture and discussion, is also perfect.
Okay.
But if I want collaborative learning fully active, then the 1087
round-
type.
Do you think it's because of the round tables?
That's right, and the screens all over.
Okay.
So
Oh, that's
there's
the one where each table has its own screen?
Not really,
Or
but
there's
there are
multiples? There's a bunch of
screens,
screens.
yes.
Okay.
on all the walls, so independently of where they're sitting, they can see the screen. And there's also the whiteboards around.
Round table.
Another thing I like is some of those have natural lighting. This one has natural lighting. Then I attended one of those Tech Tuesdays or Tech
Yeah.
that
Tech
ITAP
today's, yeah.
has. Attended one back in, I think it's 1088. So all the way on the other corner or around here. Not sure. But they have windows.
Yeah.
And you have natural lighting. That is I think that is great.
Why do you what do you think that brings?
Well, that's lively.
Yeah, helps
You know,
keep you.
otherwise, like a room totally enclosed
Yeah.
encourages sleeping.
Great.
So the students are, they may be distracted a little bit watching through the window, but not that much.
Yeah, you haven't found them to be distracted. Great.
I love it. I love it. The only thing I don't like is the elevators. They're very slow.
I'll write that one down.
And of course, going to the third floor, which is my classroom,
Yeah.
it's too high. I mean,
Too hot?
Too high.
Oh, too high.
The flights of stairs are twice as large.
Yes.
You know, so
yes.
it's actually it's like going to the sixth.
Yeah.
So I just use the elevator and
You're a little slow.
it's very slow. Very,
All
very
right.
slow.
Well, that's all my questions.
Plus, the place is fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
I think students are very happy with it. They sit around all over, working by themselves or together with other students, or to take those rooms upstairs, the study rooms.
Yeah. Do you ever see your students like camped out before or after class working?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that's right. I do.
Hopefully working on your class material.
And no, I've actually seen them using the audiovisual,
Okay.
and so they project
Yeah.
what they want to talk about, and then everybody contributes. I've seen them several times.
In those like smaller conference rooms.
Yes. They're very nicely equipped. I mean, the infrastructure is really nice. And of course, the big printers upstairs and all those. I think it's very well thought out.
Great. All right. Well, that is all I've got for you.
Okay,
I'll turn this off.
I need to answer the survey.